We have to move on to our health segment now, though. And with us today, we have Dr. Babajide Lawson. He's an orthopedic surgeon, and I've never met anyone who's nuts about bones like this guy. I don't know. Like, he talks about bones all day. Like, you can have a conversation for 24 hours with Dr. Lawson on just bones. And today, we're going to shed more light on bone health with a focus on our kids and especially their legs. Dr. Lawson, welcome back.
Good morning, TJ. Thank you for having me.
All right, so now I would love to, okay, so there's this, should I call it an old wives' tale, grandma's tale from the village where they say, oh, sometimes, you know, bow legs are caused by, you know, putting a baby on your back and tying the oja too tight, having the baby on your back all day. So there are probably quite a lot of things you hear when you have patients come into your practice. Talk to us a bit about that.
Okay. Let's start from the beginning. So if we're talking about bone health in kids, we'll take the age range from 0 to 18.
Yes.
Now, bone health is very important because it revolves around bone is very important because your bones are important for protection.
Okay.
They provide an anchor for the muscles for you to move around. They're the main storehouse for calcium and some other minerals within the body.
Okay.
And then when those minerals are in short supply, the bones release them so that the body can function. Calcium is especially very important for nerves to function properly.
Okay.
And then if you start to have, so for example, one problem that is very common is having cramps. Sometimes a low level of calcium can cause that.
Oh, you mean leg cramps?
Yes.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yes. So bone health is very important. Now, it's even now more important in kids because how good your bone health is as a child is like will determine what goes on as you get older.
Okay.
So take it that what you do in your youth is like you're making deposits in a bone bank.
Okay.
Because by the time you are in your late 20s to early 30s, you're not really depositing bone anymore.
Okay.
So if you're doing the right things as a kid, then it helps out. Now, so that now takes us to the next point, which would now be the issue of how do you ensure that you have good bone health? And that revolves around 3 basic things. One is diet.
Okay.
And taking lots of calcium, vitamin D. Calcium can be gotten from lots dairy food. As Africans, we crunch the chicken and chicken bone and the fish bone.
Okay.
That also helps. Fish too, very rich in vitamins, vitamin D and calcium. And supplements. So for kids, it's very good to get supplements with calcium supplemented diets and then vitamin D supplements in cod liver oil.
Okay.
So that would help to reinforce what you're already getting. Sunlight, going outside to play in the sun between 11 and 3 also helps.
11 and 3 p.m.
Yes.
Okay.
So in Africa, we have sunlight 365 days of the year. So we have it all the time. So going out. And then the third thing will be physical activity.
Okay.
So things like running, jumping, skipping, all the 10-10 and all those things that are very, very helpful.
Okay.
So all those things help to build the strength of the bone. Now, why I said that is a myth is that the stronger the bone is, as you start to walk and put your weight on it, it's able to bear your weight. Okay. Now, if the bones are weak and the kid starts to walk, the leg starts to give way and may start to bow or K, particularly in the common deformity known as rickets, where there's a problem with calcium getting into the bones.
So it's not that the parents have not been providing enough calcium. It's that the bones are not able to absorb the calcium. Is that what you're saying?
Okay, it's a mix of both. One, vitamin D helps to improve your absorption, utilization of calcium in the body. The other part is that the parents should provide adequate diets. And then, of course, kids can be very picky. So that's where the advantage of having dietary supplements. So multivites and then cod liver oil has very good source of vitamin D. Okay. So once you just supplement that with what the kids generally take and then the physical activity, it's a well-knit package.
So I've talked on a radio show on childcare before where we talked about babies. from 6 months old, between 6 months and 9 months, where parents actually place the babies on their feet and hold them on their legs. And I've advised against it because of the fact that in many cases, the children didn't have strong enough bones to bear the weight of their bodies. And it was to also advise, well, to prevent the legs from bowing too early. Okay. What would you say to that? Okay,
well, again, if the bones are strong enough to take your weight, and that's why the child will walk when the child is ready. Okay. That usually is anything between 10 months to 18 months. Okay. So once the child is ready to walk, the bones usually tend to be strong enough to take. So if the diet is adequate, the bones will mineralize properly and will be able to take the weight. So even if you were to carry the child will not be able to support their weight because they don't have the coordination yet.
So it's not advisable to begin.
It doesn't make any...
So the baby walkers, the baby walkers and things like that?
Well, it doesn't really make much of a difference because for the baby walker, there's like a support. Yeah. So it's not really taking the entire weight of the baby. So it doesn't really make much of a difference.
Okay. All right. So now I want to go back to the calcium and the supplements.
Yes.
Now you talked about milk.
Yes.
Right. And a lot of parents choose to do like exclusive breastfeeding.
Yes. And
it's supposed to be the source for calcium for the baby at that time.
Yes.
So are you saying add supplements to that?
No.
Okay.
So for the breast milk is sufficient.
Okay.
So 0 to 6 months. So when you're talking about diet for bones, for bone health, so you break them into 3 categories: 0 to 6 months, 6 months to 5 years, 5 years to 18.
Okay.
So 0 to 6 months, kids get more than enough from the breast milk.
Okay.
But by 6 months to 5 years, that's when you start to wean, and then the child starts to try to figure out what they like to eat.
Okay.
At that point, if you have a child that's very picky, you may not. And then some of the foods that you want them to, that contain the calcium and vitamin, they are not very interesting foods.
Okay.
You know, milk, veggies, stuff that you really would put pressure on them to get to eat. So it makes sense to supplement. Okay. And then 5 to 18, for so many reasons, going off to school, you're not monitoring as much. Can affect diet.
Dr. Lawson, it's always great having conversations with you on set here at Wake Up Nigeria. If you have any questions for Dr. Lawson, use our hashtag Wake Up Nigeria on TVC, and we'll see if we can get those questions from the doc or for the doc and get them answered for you. We have to take a quick break, and Wake Up Nigeria continues after this.